All right, we're on. So here we are, shooting kind of not in exactly sequential order today. Layton is here with me, and we're talking about another one of his originals. It's got a big, sexy hook. It's called Miracle. And without further ado, let's just get right to it. I'm not going to do one of those things where I ramble for ages and ages at the beginning. Let's just get right into it. Let's talk about it. Lates, how you doing, man?
I'm doing great, Dave. Thanks for having me again.
Yeah, no, you're our regular
I always love
guest.
coming to your studio and having a little chat about music and songwriting.
Love it. Well, I love having you here. It's very, it's always fun having you here. It's always fun chatting about the craft of songwriting because you're one of the close friends that I have in this area. Close friends in my life that still at our young age, are we getting younger? 35? I'll take it.
Look at me. I chose to dye my hair silver, so.
What happened there, Lates? Yeah, I know. Anyway, look, songwriting.
Hey, look, there was a time when my hair flowed like Michael Bolton's. I always wanted to look more like Axl Rose's, but it had those weird curls. Did you ever have long hair yourself or not? In fact, you look like you're growing your hair back now. Actually, now
what's happening to Dave's hair? I haven't had time to get it cut, honestly.
Oh, okay.
But and we won't talk about haircuts of the past. There's been a few regrettable ones over the years. Yeah, but look, here we are talking about songwriting today,
Yep.
and I want to talk about this song, "Miracle."
Yep.
That you have written because it's got such a great hook. It's actually, when I think about Layton Lillas songs,
Yeah.
I think about this one, Miracle. This is usually the one that I kind of hold up as the archetype of your songs because of its great hook that just sticks in my head.
Yeah.
And it's not just for me because 12,500 people at my last check on Spotify have listened to it. Now, you said it's been up there for a long time, but that's real numbers. And, for an indie song that an independent artist without a whole lot of social media push, those are pretty good numbers to do.
That was for Best Friends, though. Another song. I don't think that was for Miracle.
Was it Best Friends?
Yeah. Yeah.
Best Friends got 12.5. Well, what did Miracle get?
I'm not sure. Look, I put it up a little while back. It's like most songwriters. I just want it out there now. There's a time when you have to let your babies go out into the big world. So to be honest, I haven't checked, but I think it's Best Friends that had a little viral spike there back in 2018 or something like that. But,
now I've got to know. But
anyway,
I'll tell you what, Lates, if it's not over 1,000 at this point, you ain't getting paid. Thanks, Spotify. Have you heard about this one?
No.
They're not paying. They're doing what YouTube rolled out ages ago with making a threshold. So basically, if you've got less than 1,000 streams on a song, it's not worth them paying you.
The pennies, yeah.
Yeah, the micro pennies. You need the amount of traction you need on all those platforms combined to make anything is.
Was it you or somebody else that was telling about Weird Al Yankovic? While everyone was getting their payouts from Spotify, he was like, "This is BS, man. I can't remember the number, but I want to say 800,000 streams and he got $39. It was something like that. It was, maybe I'm exaggerating the numbers.
Wait.
Anyway, I have to say,
yeah.
I know people criticize Spotify, but it's how most of us are digesting our music nowadays. And, I find myself listening to a much more varied array of music than I would have when you had to go and buy an album and thrash. I know it's not great for the songwriters, but what it does is exposes you. And if you're good enough and you get enough, you then have got that ability to go and play live or get it licensed. So swings and roundabouts. The music industry's never been the fairest of all industries, has it?
You know what, Lates, you're absolutely right. And I should think about that because you're dead right. And look, I love the fact that the internet has taken away the gatekeepers. So you are right. And I have come to accept the less than 1,000. That's a pretty small threshold First of all, also, by the way, it was your song Best Friends that's got the 12,106 according to Spotify
I just didn't
right
want
now.
to lead your listeners astray. Yeah.
So Miracle, I don't know. It doesn't have a number on it. But
Under 1,000.
Probably under 1,000. Sorry, dude.
For my art.
But looking at it on the bright side, on the bright side is there isn't the gatekeepers that there was so many years ago. You know, I've got an album up there from 2001. I made it in 2001, and it's under my name, Dave Martin. And it was recorded on a Roland VS90. It was called.
Right.
It was a
4-track, or
it was an 8-track, a digital 8-track.
Yeah.
And it all recorded into there, and then it had to get piped off that unit via a SPDIF cable. And luckily, a friend of mine, Jeff Knight, who will be on the podcast hopefully in the future, Jeff is the one who mixed it for me. So he got each track individually off there in real time. It wasn't a drag and drop scenario. It was you had to play it in real time while it came down a cable, and it was recorded into his audio card, and then he mixed the whole thing. And that album's up there, 1,000 Caguamas it's called. And I'm not going to get into the story of that album. Okay, that's for a whole nother show.
That's another episode.
There's a lot of content on there to pick from. But the thing with that old album is, when I first created it, I mean, it was basically a demo. That's all it was.
Right.
It wasn't going to exist anywhere. Nobody was ever going to hear it. And now it's out there. Now, if you're listening to this, you can go listen to that.
1,000 Caguamas.
1,000 Caguamas.
Caguamas.
Yeah.
What is a Caguama?
Oh, God.
What is a Caguama?
Okay, I'll tell the story very briefly. The song, it's kind of a thematic concept album because most of the songs were written during a 2-month backpacking trip around Mexico.
Oh, yeah.
In 2001. And a Caguama is the name of a giant bottle of beer that I think in LA culture, it's called a 4-0. That's what they call it there. It's a giant bottle of beer. And down in Mexico, they call it a caguama.
Caguama.
A caguama. And that's just their name for it. And so it means a giant bottle of beer or I think a big sea turtle. So there's a big sea turtle that has the same name. And I think they named the bottle of beer because of its similar look to this big sea turtle, kind of the way the kiwi, which one is it? Is the kiwi fruit named after the kiwi animal, or is it? No, the kiwi,
because it's furry outside,
Yeah, the kiwi bird is the one with the name, got the name first, and then they called the kiwi, because the real name is, I think is it gooseberry?
Chinese gooseberry.
Okay. But are you allowed to say that? Canceled.
I don't know. It's what used to be called.
Wait,
Chinese gooseberry, yeah.
Say it one more time, Late. right down the barrel of the camera.
Hey, you meant to have your little editing
hang on a second. I got to get the editing button. Yep.
The Chinese gooseberry was what we used to call it.
Slow down. Lates. G'day, mate. When you hear that sound, it means cut it out. Can we just call it?
It was what we used to call the kiwi fruit. Yeah.
Okay. So, and then the animal was called that after the fruit.
No. The animal was called that first.
The fruit was called
because the fruit has a furry exterior. I guess it's weird.
Yes.
And because in New Zealand we're called kiwis. So the fruit was growing here. I mean, they weren't that inventive. The gooseberry was once grown in China, Chinese gooseberry, and now it's been made in produced in New Zealand, kiwi fruit. I mean, it's not exactly original, is it? I'm cutting
all of that out.
1,000 Caguamas.
Caguamas, and we're not here to talk about me.
Yeah.
You're the guest, Lates.
Okay, all right. Now we know what the 1,000 Caguamas is all about.
Yep.
So, Miracle.
Let's get to it, dude.
Yeah.
What's the story with this song?
So the story behind it was...
It's got a big, sexy hook.
Yeah. I was on tour at that time, around 2013, with the band Air Supply.
Okay.
Familiar with Air Supply?
Yes.
Massive band from the late 70s, early 80s, with Graham Russell and Russell Hitchcock.
And what were you doing for Air Supply?
I was their promoter.
Oh, cool.
I was one of their promoters. So we did 3 shows around New Zealand with them. And as a band, oh my word, talk about big sexy hooks. That band has plenty of them.
Oh,
All out of
yeah.
love.
Yeah.
Making love out of nothing at all. Anyway,
Lost in Love. I think that's my favorite one.
Yeah.
It's so great. The chords.
Anyway,
the songwriting's incredible. Yeah.
Yeah, the songwriting's incredible. And that was where the seed, we talked about in one of the other episodes, how the seed of a song comes from. At that point, was my wife and I were expecting our first baby. A baby, our child's now 9 years old. So that would make sense. End of 2013. And so inspired was I being out on the road with that band, especially Graham Russell, who wrote a lot of their songs. He just talked about his process of writing songs, and he was writing all the time. And I remember talking to him in the airport lounge, and I said, Graham, I haven't written a song in a long time, but something about being on the road with you guys, I've been inspired. He goes, what's it called, Layton? And I said, Miracle. And I said, I haven't finished it, but it's about my unborn child. She's in my wife's tummy now. And he says, tell me more. Tell me why a miracle. And I said, well, I know that there's a lot of situations where people call their children the miracle child. And, but our baby really was a miracle. And do you mind if I share the story behind it?
If you're comfortable, Lates, then I'm comfortable. I would love to hear it.
On one of the other episodes, we talked about, when you're writing songs, are they always from personal experience? Are the lyrics literal? And often they're not. I think it's the biggest misconception people have is that I've written a song about drugs, alcohol, whatever, right?
Yeah.
Oh, so the songwriter, he must have done that, or that must be about her. It's not always the case, but sometimes it is. Miracle was. So here's the situation. Long story short, my wife got breast cancer at the age of 31. And we got through breast cancer, but as anyone that's been through cancer, especially with women, know, one of the side effects of chemotherapy is infertility. Way we thought of it at the time, I never forget being given the option, and they said, look, we could take the eggs out before we start any of the chemotherapy. What do you think? And we made the decision, if she wasn't there, what's the point? You know what I mean? Like at the end of the day,
right,
your life's more important. There was no baby at that point.
Okay.
So she had she's a cancer survivor. So, which we're very grateful for even, this far along. Absolutely. And we continue to be grateful for. Anyway, we were getting towards 40 and, it's one of those things, whereas other people, and my heart goes out to anybody that is trying to have babies, because you get to a point where literally it seems like every other person around you is talking about their new kid and my daughter did this and my son. And I get it because in their life, that's one of the most important things. And if you're the person that's not part of that world, it's a pretty weird time because you're getting acceptance. There's a certain point where you realize that option's taken away from you. We were fast heading towards that point.
Right.
I think we're probably in our late 30s. So we went to a fertility clinic and we went to see what our options were. And we realized at that point that the options for my wife were scant. It had an effect. And so we started a whole process of seeing whether we could work with what we had. I want to skip forward a little bit. The fact was, we got to a point where we realized we were not going to be able to have a baby with conceived naturally. So we went down a track where one of her friends had amazingly decided to donate an egg, and it was going to be worked through. I mean, the marvels of modern medicine. It was going to be, I guess, on a bloodline, myself and the friend, but it was going to be conceived. It was going to be actually, born by my wife. And
oh wow,
yeah,
okay.
So genetically, it was going to be me and her friend, and so there was a lot of counselling involved. Because imagine that now, having a barbecue, and there's a little one running around. I mean, these are the things you have to really think through.
Yeah.
And for her friend's husband, he would have been looking at a child that looks like his wife and me.
Well, that complicates things
Very complicated.
to a higher level.
But we had decided there's a lot of counselling that has to go through that.
Right.
And they have to be finished with their family, and they were. So they were not having any more children. They had decided that. Anyway, that was the way we were going to go. We went for a holiday to England, and long story short, when we got back to New Zealand, we were about to embark on this journey. The woman especially has a lot of blood tests around this time, and the levels showed that she was actually pregnant. They did all sorts of scans, and they said, I don't know what's happened here, but quite frankly, you have actually conceived. There is a baby right now.
Right.
And you're 2 months pregnant. And it was the most amazing thing, and that was the miracle, because really we'd been given no chance. We'd been told this was the way we were going to go. We'd had a holiday to get our heads in the game for what the next process was going to be. And now, we were having a child. And then to carry things on from that, basically my child ended up being a premature baby because of some health issues, again, with my wife. They had to bring my baby out 8 weeks ahead of time, 2 months before the 9 months.
Oh, wow.
And so she was in
that's quite early.
Neonatal intensive care unit for the whole first month of her life. So the fact she's an amazingly healthy kid now, we continue to count our blessings. But that is the story of miracle. And you know what? I haven't had too many miracles in my life. I don't know whether you have had, Dave, but I can't put it down to anything else. That's how it felt to us. So that's where the name came from. Circling right back, Graham Russell said, where'd that come from? I told him the story. He says, you've just got to write this song. Mm-hmm. And when I got back home, normally, as we've said on other podcasts, guitar's my normal instrument. But as a challenge, I love to write on different instruments.
Right.
You and I both have a love of the uke. It's amazing when you start writing on a uke. It's like different melodies come out.
It's really easy to write on a uke.
Yeah.
Because I find it's just major and minor chords, whereas the guitar, you can add all these extra notes.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to take one step further than that.
Yeah.
Miracle, I started on the piano. Okay. And
that gives you a lot to choose from then.
The piano is not my normal instrument. The guitar is. But there's some tones that come. And it's just funny. As a songwriter, I urge anybody, don't just stick to your one instrument that you're good at. I'm no piano player, but it's amazing. You just sort of feel around and you'll be amazed at the melodies that come. And that's where Miracle started. So, yeah, look,
can I interject with a quick question? Yeah. Air Supply, whenever I picture the album that my sister had when I was a kid, and it's white, and it looks like it's done in pencil crayon with their faces on it, and there's two guys. One tall,
it's Graham
blonde,
Russell, who I talked to about
and another
this.
guy's kind of got like quite a curly
he had
head
a
of
fro.
hair. Yeah. Are they English or Australian or American?
Okay, so great story with Air Supply. Graham Russell is from Nottingham in England.
Yeah.
Russell Hitchcock is from Australia. What they were doing, I forget what. I think it was Jesus Christ Superstar. Graham Russell auditioned and got in. He was on holiday, I think, in Australia. He got into the production of Jesus Christ Superstar with Russell Hitchcock. And when they were on the tour, they just became, I think, as you find on tours, you become close. You're in hotel rooms.
Right.
And they started writing together.
Oh, no way.
And they literally, that was where the combo started. I'm pretty sure it's Jesus Christ Superstar. You might need to Google, fact check that.
No, we don't do that on this.
Okay.
Just go with it.
I'll go with it.
Yeah.
And where they got signed, and I think very quickly after getting signed, they were given the Rod Stewart US tour as an opening act.
Oh, wow.
And that just
Yeah.
exploded.
Yeah.
They were the right band for the right time, right around the time of Foreigner, Journey.
Just a great songwriting duo then. Did they write all those songs together?
Yeah. So really interesting story with that. I always remember, it's quite funny. Have you met many famous people in your life, Dave?
Not really.
Who would be the most famous person you've met?
Jeez, I don't know. Barry Katz?
Hey, Barry Katz is known to Jerry Seinfeld.
So there you go. I'm one degree away from Seinfeld. Yeah, I don't know. You're putting me on the spot there. I'm not sure. Why?
Well, it was interesting. With what I do as a job, you get to meet these people, and you sometimes ask questions, and you think it's a very benign question, but maybe it's a bit, you've gone down the wrong track. Anyway, the question I asked Russell Hitchcock once, we were having a drink after the show in a bar, and I said, can you explain to me how the relationship works with you and Graham in terms of the songwriting? What's your part in that process?
And he said, you step in it?
My voice. Mm-hmm. I said, oh, well, I know. I mean, you're the singer, but what do you bring to the songwriting process? He goes, my voice. And I remember thinking, I don't know. I've obviously touched a nerve here. I don't know why.
Yeah.
But Graham Russell, the big tall guy, he's the guy that he literally walks around with his notepad. He's constantly hiking, writing. But look, Russell had a point. Without Russell's voice, there would be no Air Supply. He most likely, look, I don't know the exact story of every single song, but I would imagine he molded in the collaboration process how those songs turned out. So fair point. That's what he felt his contribution. Is he a lyricist? Maybe not.
Yeah.
But that's how we did it. So anyway, I think they started with 3 in Air Supply, but it was always the 2 guys. They were the guys who wrote all the big hits.
I'm thinking of, I have to bring this up because it's parallel to Simon and Garfunkel, kind of, know? And the guy with the big frizzy hairdo has got the beautiful voice, and the other guy's writing all the songs. But together, and you have to admit too, with Simon and Garfunkel, it's I love the expression, the sum is more than its parts, because it absolutely is with Simon and Garfunkel, and it feels that way with Air Supply, and Paul Simon on his own. I mean, I love him; it's great. But
the Graceland album was cool, it was a different thing, but Simon and Garfunkel's the magic, right?
Careful, he's coming on next week too, so we want to. And what about? Hey, one other point. Graham Russell and
Russell Hitchcock.
Okay, come on. That's kind of confusing, isn't it? It's like when in ZZ Top, when the 2 dudes had beards, and the drummer who doesn't have a beard's name is
Frank Beard. Yeah, and that is truth too.
What?
Yeah, you know what? Steve Lukather from Toto once said to me, when 1 + 1 = 3, that's the magic of a collaboration, right? He was talking about something else. He was talking about how when 2 bands come together, that band has that audience, that band has that audience, together it equals something much, much bigger. So anyway, I reckon that is 100% what happened with those 2.
Another way of saying exactly that, though, is the sum is more than its parts.
Yeah.
And I was thinking of Audio Slave right there when you said that, because I honestly, I've gotten into arguments with people. I don't want to go off on too much of a tangent, but I was never a huge fan of
Soundgarden.
Yes. No, too much. The math guitar, no. And I found that Chris Cornell's voice in that band was always up in that really high register, and I felt like he was kind of a one-trick pony. Like, it just... my favorite song by them was Fell on Black Days. Do you know that one?
I don't know.
It's because he sings it in a lower register. Oh, I can't sing. I can't sing it on here. We'll get demonetized. But when they got together with Rage... Now, see, I didn't like Rage. I don't know. The rap rock, it went over me. I never was really into that either. And a bit too political for me by that age. But then suddenly there was this song everywhere, early 2000.
Cochise?
No,
Like
the
a
other
Stone.
one. That one, man.
Oh, what a great tune.
Wow. That's
Yeah.
a whole separate episode.
Yeah, a great tune.
Unbelievable. And it still holds up, obviously, to this day. It's so good. And so a friend of mine gave me that album, and I devoured it hook, line, and sinker. I've listened to it for years. There was a period in my life where I drove around Vancouver with a van, and I was living in Vancouver, and I owned a van. I wasn't just driving around Vancouver with a van. That CD was the only thing that played in that car for a year.
Yeah.
Every time I got in,
groundbreaking when it came out, Dave.
it's so good. And that's a whole nother tangent that I would go on about how their next album wasn't quite as good, and the next album wasn't quite as good as that. And I hate saying it out loud, but it felt that way because maybe they were trying to capitalize on a good thing too quick, you know. But that first album, to me, it's right up there for me with the Wilburys' first album, with the Cult Electric, and
Are you a fan of the Cult Electric?
Absolutely. It's because of the riffs. Yeah.
Billy Duffy.
Yeah, man, it's so good. He's still cool. He's still cool now. If you follow him on Instagram and stuff.
Oh, yeah.
He's so cool. Well, look, that was a lot of extra bonus content there. I know. You know what it's like? It's like you just want to get everything out, though. Like, oh, no, by the way, about that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Back to Miracle. Yeah. So I wrote a song.
Yeah.
I wrote a song for my unborn child who I thought was a miracle. And it was something of for her to know what her dad was feeling before she was born. And it was one of those weird things of where you realize you loved a person before they were even known. We didn't know what her face looked like, but I was imagining this little boy or little girl we didn't know. I was imagining what my child was going to be. And I think for me, when all my summers are over, Dave, if this is a little thing for her to know what her dad was thinking at the time before she was born, that's my little legacy for us. It's a really important song.
Yeah.
1,000 streams or no 1,000 streams, it really doesn't bother me. Sometimes as a songwriter, you just got to get that song out. And this one was from my heart for a person. Yeah.
And that reminds me of, I heard Pete Seeger, the great folk musician, who was kind of, he influenced a lot of the folk movement in the 60s. He was kind of almost a generation or a few years before all those guys. He only died recently. He made it to like mid 90s. Wow. But yeah, and he said his love of folk music and my love of folk music is from this is that, these are songs that are simple. And they were written pre-radio and pre all this distribution that came along. They were for people to share with each other that sometimes would only get listened to by a handful of people. Yeah. They're story songs, stories of their life. And that's what you were writing for your daughter, was a story. And to you, it doesn't matter that the amount of streams it gets on Spotify or any platform is irrelevant, because you're really writing it for an audience of one. And, that's what we're here today to do, is to share it and share the story of that.
Or hopefully someone else that has that feeling, you know what I mean? If, like I say, a lot of what we're talking about in these sessions is what inspires you to write a song, and just what a gift it is to actually be able to come up with this idea and to flesh the whole thing out and to have it something that is there forever. That's the beauty of songwriting, is it's actually something that will be there well after you've gone. And yeah, that's a pretty special thing. So,
Do you want to give it a try?
Let's give it a go. I mean, you've seen it obviously on the piano. We've had a little run through it on the piano, and piano is not my first instrument. So that's why, might be a little bit sloppy.
It's in C, right?
No, it's in, the chorus, So how it starts is...
don't worry about it. I'll follow along.
You follow along?
Yeah. I'll twinkle lightly.
remember seeing your face. I love you more than words can never explain. I'm your daddy. The world can be a scary place, but have no fear, I'll be by your side all the way. I'm ready. Heaven sent your star will shine so bright, filled with love and light. I found love, but I never found it quite like this. You prove a miracle, it's not a myth. I found love, but I never found it quite like this. You prove that miracles do exist. I've played hard, I've lived my dreams. The road has brought me to where I wanna be. To be your daddy. Life's a blank canvas that you can paint the colors you want, the future you choose to shape. So proud already. Heaven sent your star will shine so bright, filled with love and light. I found love, but I never found it quite like this. You're proof of miracle, it's not a myth. I found love, but I never found it quite like this. You prove that miracles do exist. I found love, but I never found it quite like this. You prove a miracle, it's not a myth. I found love, but I never found it quite like this. Oh, you prove a miracle do exist. And that's Miracle.
Wow.
Bung notes and all.
Really cool, dude. You know what? I'm going to hang on to this guitar.
Sure.
Yeah, let's continue. All right. So there may be a cut or two in there. But look, I just want to make a mention, too, that, you know, we're playing this live off the floor. We're not overdubbing. We're not cutting things in. Well, we might overdub. Maybe we are overdubbing. We're going to live and dangerous it.
You know what? The odd little spike in a vocal's not the end of the world, but yeah.
And we can also mention in our defense that it is still the AM, right?
It's still the AM.
Right?
We're shooting.
It's not Howard Stern hours, but it's still the AM. It's not. We haven't had lunch. All right. You know what, Lates? I just love that song. It's as I played that song, I realized you've used a lot of great chords in there. You've used basically all the chords in the key of C in a really unique way. And I'll tell you what, my favorite, there's a couple of neat tricks that you've done, but the one that I really like is where I felt love, that chord there. You're going to the E minor. So you're walking down from a C to an A minor, and then you're going to the E minor, which is the 3. And it's a nice move because I think what I like about your songwriting is that you do incorporate a lot of chords from the key. You don't just stick to the 1 minor 6, 4, and 5. You utilize all the chords in the key, and so you're utilizing everything. You got a D minor in there, a G to hold the tension, which is the 5. Go to a G7 to build more tension, and then resolve on the 1, which is the C. So, from a melodic point of view, with the chords underneath it, it's great. I can hear the Bon Jovi influence as well. Do you want to tell me about that?
Wow, favorite band of all time. The band really that set me on this trail in general. John Bon Jovi, Richie Sambora, and you can't say those two without one of the great songwriters, who's Desmond Child. He must have brought big ideas into the mix that gave it something, because wherever he was involved, they had huge anthems. But yeah, maybe there's a bit of that. Like I say, I was thinking more of the Big Hooks of Air Supply when I wrote it. But
I can hear that.
It's like with any influence, we're all like this box of chocolates that takes a little bit from all of our influences. For me, it's, I love Elton John. I love Rod Stewart. I love Glenn Campbell. I love Kenny Rogers. There's all of those little influences that come into it. But I do love a big chorus.
Yeah, and that's the big chorus that I always think of when I think of a Layton song. I think of that one.
Like Always, Bon Jovi.
Yeah.
Great chorus that even Johnny Boy has trouble singing nowadays. In fact, we were talking about this morning on, the curse of a song for a songwriter of actually writing for your voice, because arguably that's where I started playing it on the piano. And I haven't told you about where the start of that was.
Yeah, let's get around to the piano part of this song.
So the piano started, I was showing or I was watching something about how the song Beth by Kiss was written.
Right.
And it used to be this funny little folky song that Peter Criss, the drummer, had written about his wife at the time, Beck. It's like about Becky. Yeah.
Right.
But Bob Ezrin, their producer, he came up with the start of how to turn it into a piano song. And I watched that song's in the key of C, but it starts with C like as root note, and they move up from C to D minor to C major 7, I think. And so I didn't play it in C, but I started what I was doing. I was hearing it in F, and that's where the starts of that came from. So on guitar, it doesn't really work the same.
Yeah.
And likewise in A minor, what that is A minor with and then G with an A bass. Is that what I'm doing?
Oh.
So I'm holding the A minor.
Oh, I see. You're doing an A minor chord and then just putting a G.
So a lot of this is
on the bass.
That's what's when it opened my eyes trying to write a song on the piano, is things that I'd known for years in bands of where my bass line moves while a root note stays the same place.
I see what you're saying.
I realized, that's all from the piano. That's what's so amazing.
Yeah.
I really wish that I hadn't thought the piano was such a dorky instrument when I was a kid, because it really is the foundation. It's so much better as an instrument to play, write a song on than a guitar,
there's a song I'm thinking of by Black Sabbath called Changes.
I love Changes. Yeah.
And this, I think the story is that they were in a studio in LA, and it was, I think, Ozzy who walked over to the piano, and he'd never given it a crack, and he just kind of figured out a couple of chords. And I remember hearing it. I had it on vinyl way back in the day and thinking, man, that's a really remedial kind of da-da-dum, bum, ba-bum, the piano part. But then, of course, like Ozzy, right? it's got this amazing chorus where he hits the high note.
Yeah.
I'm going through changes. And all of a sudden you go, wow, there's something there, you know? And, you know, Ozzy says, yeah, he just jumped on the piano and banged around on it. And I've heard Keith say that. And I've seen interviews with Keith Richards.
I was going to say, you're on first name basis with the greatest of all time.
I don't know many famous people other than Keith Richards, who I just call Keith. Yeah, exactly.
I just call him Keith.
Sorry.
I thought you were going to say Keith Urban, but of course.
No, Keith Urban. No, I know him too, but no, Keith Richards. He's downstairs making a sandwich right now. We'll get him on later. But I've heard him talk about how he just jumped on the piano. And very same thing. And I think that's what happens when you're creative and when you're a musician is you start to jump on other instruments and see them for their strengths or the doors that they open up. You know, the idea that you were playing chords and then descending the bass note while retaining the same chord on the top. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you could do that on the guitar.
Yeah.
Right?
Oh, yeah.
You could in all sorts of chord formation shapes, right? And there's an F, and then drop the F to the E to the down to a D minor. You're descending. The root is descending, and the chord is staying the same, and it becomes interesting, and you're waiting for it to resolve. So I can see where you went with that, and it would have been nice to write it on the piano because. No black notes, right?
No. And look, the interesting thing was, while it was written on the piano, that's not what the final recording, which we've talked about in other sessions as well, Dave, the final recording in the end had no piano, which I find so bizarre in the sort of how a song transitions from the seed to the finished product, is that I worked with a producer, a friend of mine in Nashville, and he literally removed all of the piano and turned it into a... Ooh yeah, ooh yeah. He totally changed it around, and I love the finished version. But funnily enough, my favorite is still the piano, the version I played for you this morning on piano, and but you can't be afraid as an artist and a songwriter to watch your baby take another path. And I think if you're going to collaborate, you've got to have an open enough mind to let it go in that direction. So yeah, it was written on piano. That's not what the final version is. Possibly lamented a little because that's what I like. Right. But yeah, it was the way the song went, and now it's out there. So I'll just leave it out there now. It doesn't need to be reprised in any other way. That's the finished version of that song.
You're talking about the Spotify version?
The Spotify version. It's a nice, like I always think when artists try and re-record classics, they're actually doing a disservice. Like that recording, when it finally got released, that was what back in the day when an album hit the shelves, it actually was the final thing that was the version of Stairway to Heaven. End of. You play live versions of it, you can extend it there, but that is the version. And I still think that's the great thing about Spotify for all of us now, is we've got this vehicle to distribute our music. Once it's out there, leave it out there. That is the finished version. Are there things I'd change? Yeah. Is it the final is it the version I probably would have wanted it to go to? Oh, maybe not on reflection, but it is. That's the one that's out there now.
Well, I can tell you, my 1,000 Kawamas album, there's certainly quite a bit that I would change if I could. But what's out there is what I recorded in my bedroom onto that Roland VS90 back in 2001.
Yeah.
It's the summer of 2001. And that's what's out. That's what's on there.
And it documents a moment in time too, Dave.
Sure does.
If you keep trying to bring everything up to the modern day, you're missing the point of a songwriting journey, a lifetime of songwriting. I love it. It's like it documents moments in time. So, yeah, we did the same thing. My old singer and I set up a little duo that was never called that, a working project called Old Blood, because we used to have a band called Young Blood when we were high school kids, and we're using that as a vehicle to put all of our old songs out because they were all only left on cassettes, and no one has a cassette player anymore. So same thing, man. They were from the early 90s.
You've got to digitize that stuff. You got to
We
dig it up
digitized it and put it on Spotify. Yeah.
Oh wow. Oh cool. I didn't even know about that project.
Old
I'll look
blood.
It up.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm
check
gonna
it
look
out,
up.
listeners.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I did have one more. I had a burning question about when you'd finish this.
Yeah.
And Graham Russell, did you play it for Graham Russell? Did you play it on a piano or did you play in the song? And if so, what did he think of it?
The answer to that is no. And I do lament that because it was Graham that inspired me to get back into songwriting.
Yeah,
that's the other thing with the craft of songwriting is that if you leave it for long enough, it's really hard to get back into I'd encourage everyone, if you're a songwriter, to just keep that muscle flexed. This was my first time back songwriting, and I reckon it would have been a break of about 4 or 5 years, Dave. And so no, I've never played it for Graham. Air Supply have been back to New Zealand a couple of times. In fact, last time they came back, I caught up with Russell Hitchcock backstage, but Graham was busy doing something else. So I never got a chance to do it, but hopefully one day I'll send him the link. Yeah.
Well, Lates, it's been great having you on again.
Thanks for having me, Dave.
I can feel us kind of coming up to our time limit, our allotted time limit for the day. I do want to end on a bit of music, but yeah. I think the optimum piece of music to end on is the big sexy hook from this song. So why don't we just take ourselves out with your big chorus, man. It's really smart chords too, dude. I love it.
I found love, but I never found it quite like this. You're proof of miracle. It's not a myth. I found love, but I never found it quite like this. You prove that miracles do exist.
I just thought of what that riff is. It's Pachelbel's canon. It's got a canon thing going on.
Canon? Who's that?
Yeah. Well, it's a very classic piece of classical music that they play at every single wedding. It's called Pachelbel's canon. You've heard it a million times. And that going from C down to the minor, I can't play it anymore, but those are the chords to it. I don't want Pachelbel to take the monetization and maybe deplatform us. So that, you know what, let's do it one more time, man. Take us out.
I found love, but I never found it quite like